Okay, this is Friday, January 26th.
26.
January 26th. This is yesterday today. So start off funny story. So yesterday we talked about the Zens, Alexander, the Zen pouches in the US. So I had to go to the grocery store to get my kid food because apparently he has to eat. And then I was in there and I was like, you know what? I'll see if they have them. Why not? So I went up, I asked for Zens. They of course didn't have them. So I looked like an idiot right off the bat. But they gave me another product. This here, I won't say the name, no free ads. But I put on the walk back to the house, which is about a 10-minute walk, I guess. I put one in. And I tried to walk into the wrong door in my apartment. Like I was on fucking Mars, dude. So I found out I had it like an epiphany. I figured out the problem or the solution to the problem in the US, exactly what Chuck Schumer needs is he needs one of these. And then like I've actually solved the US problems. So that was kind of an epiphany.
There we go.
I had epiphany I had yesterday. So yeah, that wow. I mean, I didn't know my name for like 15 minutes. It was crazy. Before we dive in today, really quick, launching very soon, USA-nyt Fatela. It's a subscription-based, timeless universe of journalistic features where we slow down the pace and take you out to the farthest corners of America's complex soul with the help of text, audio, and video, perspective, reflection, and analysis. Every Friday, a new feature will be published that examines topics about the land of the free under a microscope, which you can enjoy over the weekend. 59 kroner a month, literally cheaper than one of these. 59 kroner a month, 590 kroner a year. You get 2 months free. Incredible deal, incredible value. USA-nyt Fatela coming soon. Sign up and subscribe on usanyt.com. You guys okay? I just threw that piece of paper in my fucking coffee. What an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, you good? Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming on. We'll start with you. You wrote an article that we published yesterday. And interesting to say the least. Thought-provoking as well. Very interesting blog. Before I ask you to kind of go into it a little bit, I want to run off two quotes that you put in there. First one quote: "It sounds utterly unthinkable that a persona like Trump," and then the title of the article, forgive me, was what was it? Trump Messiah, America's Messiah. Quote, "It sounds utterly unthinkable that a persona like Trump, who throws around ugly nicknames, provocative and offensive comments about women, and who in January 2021 urged his supporters to attack democracy, can be seen as a religious symbol and as a person who understands and revolves around Christian values." Also, this was written in Danish. I translated it. So if I mess anything up, please let me know. And second quote, "Values such as charity and equality are, in my view, hard to find in Trump's rhetorical tools and demeanor. So what is it that makes Trump be seen as a religious symbol and at times as the savior of the USA?" So, Sarah, I'll start with you. Why do you think a man so blatantly morally not Christian advertises it ad nauseum? Why do you think that type of person is seen as a savior sent from God to save the U.S.?
First of all, his rhetorics is excellent. You can say what you want to say about Trump, but the way he has built himself is incredible. And I think that has a lot to do with him being seen as this Messiah and sent from God. Also because of the role he's built as a leader, um, he has created this following, and they don't even care what he says. He's just because he embodies this persona, and also because I think um he's set himself up on these moral value or these values that
Right.
anti-abortion is a major thing that has gotten him a lot of followers, and in general just that he's so opposite anything we've ever seen.
Right.
He's so different.
Right.
And yesterday or a few days ago when I was watching News and Co on TV2, Sus Marie Seo, who's a political commentator, she said that his followers are kind of like a cult.
Hmm.
They've become this cult where he's the grand leader and he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, that word definitely gets thrown around. Yeah, that word definitely gets thrown around quite a bit. This cult following, right? And it's I don't think we've ever seen anything on this type of political stage where it's so on the nose, right? Whatever he says, they buy in. I've said from the beginning, like you said, love him, hate him, indifferent. The marketing behind his message and his personality in general is extraordinary, right? Like, how many Trump flags did you see when you were in the U.S., Alexander? I mean, the merchandising, the shirts, the hats, the flags, everything. I mean, it's unreal. There's always slogans. I mean, I had a T-shirt in '08 with Obama's face on it. I mean, there's always merchandise, but to see it on this level is pretty wild, and feeds into that answer that you just gave about him putting himself as this kind of leader of people. I'm here to save the U.S. and they buy into it and they love it. And after that, it doesn't matter what he says, right? They quote locker room talk. Alexander, what I don't know if you I hope you read the article. You're our editor. What did you what do you think? What thoughts do you have on it?
Well, it's an interesting topic for sure. And I mean, Trump as a sort of political appealing figure is, when you look at it rationally, in many ways as illogical as a kind of Jesus God figure. I mean, the major legislation that he passed during his time was tax cuts, right? And he is trying to sort of rebrand the Republican Party, at least in speak, or in words, as this working class party. And what his tax breaks did was not beneficial to them, and it only increased their national debt heavily. And that's something that most Republicans care a lot about. So in many ways, he's an illogical sort of figure head to the people that he talks to. But again, I mean, they don't necessarily want policies that change their lives for the better in a sort of traditional, classic, practical way. I mean, the sense that I get from, talking to Trump voters is they just want someone who, embodies strength and, who talks the way that they do, and just, this strong sort of character. And to Sarah's point, I mean, he excels in that. So
yeah, and to the point on abortion, right? This religious coalition, starting back to the moral majority, right? It doesn't matter what you say as long as you say the issues that are important to this group of people. And abortion is a huge one on that. And to that note, we'll go right into the next. CNN released a article yesterday titled "Nearly 65,000 pregnancies from rape have occurred in states with abortion ban." In the study that was published in the Journal of JAMA Internal Medicine, researchers from Planned Parenthood used a combination of federal surveys on crime and sexual violence to estimate that there were about 520,000 rapes that led to 64,565 pregnancies in the time since abortion bans have been enacted in 14 states, ranging by state from 4 to 18 months ago. Other research has found that there have been fewer than 10 abortions each month in states with bans, suggesting that most, if not all, victims were not able to get abortions in the states where they live, even those where the law allows exceptions for rape. According to Pew Research Center, nearly 70% of adults say that abortion should be legal if pregnancy is the result of rape. We are seeing now in real time the effects of this abortion or these abortion bans. And with Trump openly parading around the fact that he himself single-handedly took down Roe. I mean, this is no doubt going to yet again be a major factor in voter turnout. So continuing that conversation, what are your thoughts there? I mean, those are staggering numbers. Sarah, what do you got?
First of all, it's awful. First of all, the amount of rapes in general, 500,000 is
It's crazy.
And second of all, the amount of pregnancies that people can't, like, they don't have the resources. They live in a state where it's not allowed to get an abortion for various reasons, I guess. But if you look at a map of the US, all of the South is just bred with restrictions on abortions. So if you live in the middle of that, you can't even just go to the neighboring state.
You're driving for 12, 15 hours to try to go somewhere at least that will see you and consult with you. Yeah,
I couldn't imagine having that.
Yeah, it's crazy, and yeah. So I of course, it's going to be a point of debate. It always is. But this year it could essentially. It could be a bit more magnified, I guess, given the fact that Trump is so openly bragging and boasting about. So when you see statistics like this placed against the fact that he's in front of a podium, bragging essentially about these numbers, he did these numbers. Alexander, where do you see this going, either on a debate stage or further? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's, first of all, baffling numbers that you talk about there. And, it's clearly a very direct sort of platform for the Democrats to campaign on. I mean, they just launched their abortion tour, I think this week or last week, was it? For the anniversary of Roe versus Wade there and stuff. So it's something, if you put it on a ballot, pro abortion rights, it wins. I mean, we've seen it the last couple of elections. It's a winning platform. So I mean, it's definitely something we're going to see ramped up in that sense.
It's insane for a system to be set up in the way that all of these states have the all of these states can do this, right? Still, while 70% of the country disagrees with it. I mean, that's unfucking believable. So yeah, I don't know this. I do know that this is a hot button topic. This will drive voters to the booth. We talked about either yesterday or the day before, people going to the ballot for specific purposes. This is one of those purposes. This will drive people to the ballot, and so I don't know what the game plan is for the Trump camp, but it's going to be heartbreaking to watch, interesting to watch. I don't know. It's crazy numbers. To something a bit more light, I guess, if you can say that. We talked a couple days ago about this, these Stanley Cups. They're back. Target is firing their workers for buying limited edition Stanley Cups. A number of stories have been or have surfaced on a Target subreddit from people who have been fired or have witnessed others being terminated for buying limited edition cups. One Reddit user recalled having a conversation with a coworker about shifts not being picked up, only to find out that several people had been fired. Quote, they then informed me that 4 or 5 of our fellow coworkers were also just fired for purchasing the Starbucks Stanley Collaboration Cup. I guess they hid them and then purchased. Remember, team, is a cup really worth your job? End quote, is what Target wrote. Business Insider obtained a copy of the Target handbook that read, quote, team members cannot use their status to gain an unfair advantage over guests when it comes to purchasing merchandise. Sarah, can you at all, this is a tall task, can you at all explain the characteristics of the American consumer and how a entire segment of the population can be manipulated in a way to where their brains absolutely melt when it comes to buying a cup?
I actually think it's very easy to describe why, and that's social media and in general overconsumption on social media. There's this whole, especially with Stanley Cups, and it's been this whole thing on TikTok and Instagram where it's kind of like a battlefield where you see these videos of people just like,
I mean, they're beating the shit out of each other to get these cups. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I think that was like overconsumption in general is very big on social media. And this whole thing about missing out on something if you don't have every single color of every single thing. And it's a status example or status symbol too.
Yeah.
That if you have all these things, then you're just like the bee's knees or whatever.
That's a great point. And it's a weird type of marketing too, right? And it's one, I'm not a marketing person, so it's definitely above my intellectual capabilities, but it's, we first saw this influencer marketing, right? You pay somebody $100,000, they market your product, they sell it. Now we're seeing they don't even have to do that anymore. They can take clips that people film and put on their social media, reclip it, put it on TikTok. It gets seen by 10 million people, and then that drives people in the stores to buy them, because you're right, they're so scared of missing out. And it's, again, I can't understand this. I've read article after article. We've had 2 podcasts now about this exact topic. I still don't understand it. I will ask you the same question I asked the guys the other day. Is there a product, a scenario, and anything in which you could see the Danish people doing this, lining up outside, bum rushing the doors? I mean, just absolutely just cold cocking an old lady to get a cup. I mean, is there anything that you could, or is this quintessentially American behavior?
No, I have an example from last week. I do part-time work at a bookstore, and I was at work the day that the new Kong came out, the new book by the King. And it was almost like that. We had, for the first 10 minutes, we were like completely like, the phone was ringing all the time. People were coming in and we hadn't even received the book yet.
That's insane.
So that is, I would say, the first example.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a lot of examples from the book world, because there are certain books that.
Yeah, and I guess it was the same, right? Like it's all relative. I would never do it for a cup. I would never do it for a book. But Obama's
people
coming,
do it for the new iPhone.
Yeah, Obama's coming to Denmark, and I set my alarm for 7 to get in line to buy tickets. So I guess it's just the fact that it's a cup, I guess, is what just goes over my head. But it's human behavior, I guess, to its core. It's just it's a wild scenario. I don't know, but you're right. Excellent point on the missing out. I really hadn't thought of it that way. Is my friend it's the keeping up with the Joneses, right? My friend has it, I have to have it, and then when I have it, my friend has to have it, and it's just a vicious cycle.
Yeah. And then when it pops on in the media too,
it
adds to this.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Final thing from yesterday to end on, well, I guess a high note for us, a low point for the Clintons. I mean, did you guys watch the video? Wow. I mean, wow. I learned the Macarena when I was in second grade. I mean, what kind of human doesn't know I mean, it has to be the most famous like dance, right? Like if it comes on in a club with 10,000 people know how to do the Mac. Hillary Clinton goes up, two guys actually, I mean, they're singing. I don't know the fucking words of the song. I actually found out watching this video that it was Spanish. I didn't even know it was Spanish, but I know how to do the dance. Two guys are singing the song. She goes up there and she looks ridiculous. She loses the Trump in 2016, but this has to be a low point for the Clinton name. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, it was cringe to watch. I couldn't even watch it. Like I couldn't watch it, but then I couldn't turn it off at the same time. So I probably watched it 100 times. Not like my eyes were hurting the whole time. What the fuck is going on?
Well, I mean, I think people that have seen me dance will testify in court that I'm guilty of being a horrible dancer, but this was next level horrible. It was like watching a train wreck.
I mean, it was so she had no idea what was going on.
She has no rhythm in her body, that's for sure. I mean, she could not have been more offbeat. And they were being so kind to her, sort of, come on, this is how we do it. She just had no clue.
Shout out to the two guys because they handled that situation as good as you could handle it. I would have stopped and just like, ma'am, what are you doing? Like, she's a leader of men. I would follow her into war, into battle, but Jesus fucking Christ, man. That's a failure on every level.
Yeah, it's not just two men. It was the original singers of the Macarena song.
Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, this.
And everyone around them was dancing the Macarena. But
of course they were. Like, and she's the only person on the planet. Like, this feeds into the theory. I mean, if I were a conspiracy theorist, I'm not. But if I were, she could possibly be like a reptile. It's like that's
now
the only
just like
shapeshifter.
That's the only explanation for not knowing the Macarena. Like any human being knows the Macarena.
We got evidence here.
Yeah, it was unreal. So yeah, shout out conspiracy theorists. I mean, run wild with that because that's damning evidence.
That's hilarious.
For the contrary, but yeah, just thought it was funny. Thought we should talk about it. But yeah. Anyways, that's all I got. You guys got anything?
I'm good. That's awesome. A high note to end on. So
yes, Sarah, thanks again for joining us. We really appreciate it. That was yesterday. We'll see you on Monday.